well-known politician's aunt and feathery crab donkey, Geoffrey, riding atop an enraged pig, took siege of Chiddingfold today because his local 8-till-late shop were all out of bastard creams. The biscuitry confection, the illegitimate love child of the custard cream and a burrowing weevil named Alan, proved incredibly popular last spring when toy giant Mattel unleashed them on the world. After only a few deaths, one slight change in ingredients to reduce the level of arsenic, and a popular musical act of the day wrote a chart-topping polka all about them, and the legendary status and their place in the history books, right beneath dysentery and next to a picture of Lech Wałęsa on a tricycle, was assured. That being said, that has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with this brand new and excessively spoiler-heavy episode of Where's My Sister's Naughty Pillow, Madeleine? No, wait, that's not right. The Arthur Spoovy Rhymer or something. Hang on. Oh! Oh, wait a minute. Well, no, that's not it. Well, anyway, it's a wonderful show. You're going to love it. It's all about shoe upholstery in 18th century Nice and its influence on the changing size of breasts amongst 20-somethings who like pole vaulting. Now, where's my bloody check? Okay, hello and welcome to this week's After Movie Diner and a very special guest this week as we have all the way from England, but here in the West Side Restaurant on the west side of New York, surprisingly enough, on 68th Street, I think it is. It's none other than Cinematronic's very own Chris Byrne. How are you, sir?
I'm very good, thank you, John.
And what movie did we just go and see?
Crimson Peak, I believe.
Crimson Peak by Guillermo Del Toro. And I've only been to this diner maybe once or twice, so let's see what they have on the menu.
Okay. Yeah, I have no idea what's in.
I haven't eaten today.
It's like a huge booklet, this thing.
Yeah. All the menus are in diners, because they have basically everything you can possibly imagine. From sandwiches to burgers to main meals to pastas to whatever. And they're right by the kitchen, so you'll hear lots of people like shouting orders into the kitchen.
It adds to the atmosphere.
It does, completely.
Right, what do I want then?
I might actually just go for a burger.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What burgers do you do?
Whole bunch. Third page, I think. Oh, it's right in the corner.
I'm tempted to go for a chicken parmesan if we have one, but I don't know if we...
I'm going to have a bison burger with bacon and Swiss on it. I'm going to have that deluxe.
Okay. Well, you know what, screw it, I'll have to say.
All right, fair enough.
Makes it easier.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay, great. So, Crimson Peak, Guillermo del Toro. Now, I have a bit of a rocky history with Guillermo del Toro because everyone raves about Pan's Labyrinth. So I saw that, and while I completely appreciated the visuals in Pan's Labyrinth, and, you know, liked the kind of scary elements and all the rest of it, ultimately I found the whole idea of, you know, the escaping into nightmares in order to... Yes, we are, sir. Yeah.
How would you like?
Okay, we would like 2 bison burgers with bacon and Swiss, please.
Yes.
And that can be deluxe.
Yes.
And could you bring us a side of brown gravy for the fries?
Oh, got it.
Thank you, my friend.
I'm particularly looking forward to the brown gravy, I must admit.
Yeah, I have to as an Englishman. And you as a northerner, you must
definitely.
Appreciate the gravy and fries.
I wonder if it's Americanized, like you do with like the KFC, which are really thick. Or is it just like...
It is kind of like KFC gravy. There's not quite so much pepper in it, but there's like some, there's like a tomato base to it.
Oh, good. I'm looking forward to it.
It should be nice. Anyway, I've not had it here, but it should be good. I've had it at plenty of other places. So yeah, no, the kind of like the metaphor of Pan's Labyrinth, I felt was a little bit weak. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, it's a strong film and a good film, and it has some interesting visuals, and I understand why people love it. But I don't find it particularly, and maybe this is lost in translation, but I don't find it particularly intelligent or deep. I just found it to be like a good gothic horror.
Yeah, I mean,
You want regular French fries, right?
regular?
Yeah, what's the other options?
Oh, I have sweet potato fries, but they cost more.
No, just regular fries is good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I only seen Pan's Labyrinth once.
Right.
That was a good few years ago. So only judging that, I really really liked it. I thought it was a really, really good film.
Yeah.
But I do actually agree with what you're saying, that sometimes foreign language films get lost in translation, that everyone rants and raves about, and they go, oh, this was brilliant. And I think if it was directed, or if it was made in the English language, some people, you know, it wouldn't get as much applause. I do think that there's a tendency to give foreign language cinema, from Western lawyers' point of view,
right,
a bit of a, you know, oh, we'll let this one slide, oh, I don't quite get it, but oh, it's a foreign language, forget, you know, in the back of your mind, or...
And there's a certain look to what he does. I mean, back in the 90s, I watched quite a few of the Jean-Pierre Jeunet and Ron Perlman movies, Children of the Lost... What is it? Lost... City of Lost Children, whatever it was, and stuff like that. And they're very, like, heavy on style, lacking in substance. And you know, Guillermo Del Toro at least attempts substance. I'm just not sure how deep it gets. So then the next movie I saw of his was, you mentioned it earlier, what is it? Robots versus Monsters. What was it called again?
Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim. And yeah, I mean, I thought Pacific Rim was just awful. I mean, anyone who's listened to The Diner a long time will remember the episode we did about it, and will remember that...
it was just like a bad script, you thought, wasn't it? It was just like...
Yeah, again, the visuals are great. Like, he does good visuals. And, you know, my benchmark for sort of heavy stylistic movies will always be Terry Gilliam, because to me, Terry Gilliam had all the style that these guys have, but he also had stories, characters, humor, and stuff that I gave a shit about, that I felt like was saying something about the world.
Yeah.
And maybe I've lost a little bit of whatever that childhood innocence is that, like, believes in fairy tales and believes in ghost stories, and maybe I'm a bit of a cynical old husk now, but this one, Crimson Peak. So, did you want to run down the plot very briefly without giving too many spoilers, or is that daunting?
I don't know. It is. I mean, because it's quite plot heavy, even though you break it down. It's literally. Well, you better off explain.
Well, it's a what, like a turn of the century, because it's 1897 or something. One of the marriages was like 1897 or something.
Yeah, around that time.
So it's like turn of the last century, kind of industrial revolution era. It starts off in New York State, up in Buffalo. So it's a costume drama, and I felt like it had aspects of the Roger Corman, Edgar Allan Poe movies. It had aspects of the earlier Mario Bava sort of gothic romance, gothic horror movies. Obviously, there's a lot of Hammer in there.
Yeah, that's the main strong image I got. I thought this was going to be his take on a Hammer film.
Right.
Lots of ballistic stare and style. And
which, you know, the Roger Corman and the Hammer horror films are very closely linked because they're in colour. They're normally set in, like, England and or somewhere like that, or Eastern Europe. And this was very, weirdly enough, the last Corman movie I saw was Tomb of Ligeia. And there is an aspect of that in this, which is the idea of a guy who lives in a stately home. The stately home is falling down. He gets a new bride, but clearly has a dark secret. And that Tomb of Ligeia premise is very similar to this, although it goes in a completely different direction.
Yeah.
So basically, you meet Mia Wasikowska.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
How you pronounce it?
Wachikowski.
Wachikowski?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mia.
You'd think they would change her name, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Like,
bland face, unpronounceable last name. Who I last saw in Jane Eyre, and I actually kind of liked her in Jane Eyre. I thought she did pretty good.
What was the last thing I saw her in?
She was in Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah,
but I
she's in that. What's that film with? Completely forgotten now.
don't worry.
With Nicole Kidman. Yeah, it was written by the guy in Prison Break. Names are just escaping me today. You know?
Oh well, don't worry about it.
But she was in that, and it's kind of like a similar sort of young girl.
Yeah, I mean she's all right. She tends to play the same kind of like young ingenue role. So she's living in Buffalo with a single family because her mum was taken by some disease when they were much younger. She sees a ghost when she's about 11 years old of her mum that says, "Beware Crimson Peak." But she forgets all about it. We meet up with her years later. She works in her dad's office, but is also an aspiring writer. And she writes ghost stories in which the ghosts are metaphors for the past, which she says like 3 times. Oh, wow. Lovely.
Awesome, thank you.
So, which is where the heavy-handedness comes from. Because somehow, I don't know whether he feels like he needs to explain himself, but Guillermo Del Toro apparently doesn't want to leave anything to chance.
Thank you very much.
Perfect, thank you. So it's all like, oh, wait a minute, she's writing a story about ghosts in the past being the metaphor for the past? Like, are we about to live through a ghost story where the ghosts are metaphors for the past or mysteries of the past? Wow.
There is one moment right at the very end where one character literally states the obvious. And it's like, that doesn't need to be in the dialogue.
So she meets Jessica Chastain and the ubiquitous, what's his name, Loki.
Oh yes, Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
I actually thought he was pretty well cast in this. I mean,
yes, he was.
It was going to be Benedict Cumberbatch originally, wasn't it?
That doesn't surprise me because those two dudes get cast in absolutely fucking everything. Was it really going to be Bumbersnatch?
I think it was. We had to drop out for some other reason.
Because I actually prefer Hiddleston. I think Hiddleston.
Oh yeah, he's much better cast because. I think he's better suited for the role because he's a bit more handsome and he's like he's got this sort of charm.
He's got the charisma, but he's also got that like unnerving presence of he could be an evil fuck.
Yeah, it's like really unbalanced. His character could literally go anywhere.
Right.
So
very well played by him. I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
So her father is in construction and has this strong belief in like American work ethic. We find out that Sir Not Benedict Cumberbatch has been traveling around the world trying to raise money for a machine that he wants to build that is going to help excavate his lands in Cumberland in the UK of all the red ore that seeps and oozes out of the rock underneath his mansion.
Which is basically blood. It's just like the strong thing is like this thing just leaks with blood. It's full of death and murder.
So he very quickly becomes enamored of Mia Wasikowska, and
he kind of sets out to kind of woo her, really, despite her father kind of not.
Right. And then we find out because her father has suspicions that a detective has tracked down something unsavory in their past.
Yeah.
We never find out what it is at the beginning of the movie. But I have to actually say I found that a little clumsy because I sort of guessed it because it sort of looked like a certificate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
Like it looked like a marriage certificate.
Yeah.
So then her father gets killed in a very gruesome Giallo-esque Dario Argento type way.
Well, I got to say it's probably one of my favourite parts of the movie. Like, it was quite plot heavy, and I was thinking when's this film going to kick in? When's something going to happen that's going to reach my interest? And suddenly you get this scene and you see him shaving with a razor blade. I think, oh right, so it's going to be typical, like, here's something, puts down the razor, walks away, doesn't see anything, comes back, goes to pick the razor, it's not there, looks up, sees some reflection, throat slit right. No. In fact, what happens is quite brutal, like even more brutal and gory, and it just makes you like, ooh.
Well, it was very similar to isn't there that sequence in Pan's Labyrinth where the person gets the butt of the gun repeatedly in their face and like stoves in the face? Doesn't the Spanish soldier get a butt of the gun?
I mean, it has that kind of level of violence. I mean, that's what I mean. I think that's what Gilliam, especially in this one, when he really came alive with the violent bits, I thought.
Del Toro, like when he does violence in these horror movies, he does them in an Argento type way. Like there's a sequence in Sleepless, the Argento movie with Max von Sydow, where you see a woman's face and teeth repeatedly smashed into a marble wall that was very reminiscent of it. So it doesn't skimp on the hyper-realistic special effects. So her dad gets killed, we presume by one of the two, or someone certainly looking out for Hiddleston's character.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of like has a figure, and you think that kind of looks like Hiddleston's character, but you see it from the back, so you don't quite know. So you think, oh, there might be some mystery to this.
And there's black gloves and a lot of black and red. It's it's giallo. And there was a sequence in the study where the dad was talking to Hiddleston and Chastain when he found out this dark secret, which basically looked like it was lit by the guy who lit Suspiria. Like it was greens and pinks and
a lot of bright colours, really.
Right. Like his face was in green and then behind him was pink. And I have to say, my favourite thing about the whole movie was the way it looked.
Yeah. He's a very stylistic director. I mean,
for whatever reason, in this movie, it really worked for me. Like in this movie, I was really digging on the way it looked. It may be because I just sat and watched a whole bunch of Hammer horror movies.
Got you in the mood for it, kind of like.
Yeah. But the inevitable happens. Mia and Tom get married. He drags her to England. And there's just kind of a bit where the movie grinds to a halt, which was the whole explanation of the big stately home where they live. And and it was a little bit ham-fisted in you can't have the keys and there are rooms you can't go in and don't take the elevator down below this floor and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And also, Jessica Chastain is not playing this subtly. She is playing this as, I am a raving lunatic from the moment you meet her. So, and I think that's my problem, is that the movie, as beautiful as it is, and as much as I enjoyed it, it's by far my favourite Del Toro movie, it's not subtle. There's no subtlety to it as well, whatsoever. And none of the twists, so-called twists, were surprises to me at all.
No, I mean, you kind of know where it's going from day one. I mean, you understand the fact that the ghosts are there guiding her, so they're not scary. In fact, one of the things I picked up on it was I thought it was just a little too CGI-ish.
Right.
It felt a little bit too cartoony, and they had some good visuals and it looked like sort of some gruesome in some respects, but it just wasn't scary in the slightest. It didn't sort of feel freaked out, and I just guessing they're helping her solve the mystery, and at times I thought I could have done with more ghosts. I thought it kind of just.
We could have done with a more deep mystery.
Yeah.
There wasn't really a mystery.
Yeah. And it could have been a lot shorter as well. I mean, I thought it personally, it kind of it dragged on for way too long.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how long the film was, but.
Well, it was still light when we came out, and it's dark now. I would say it's probably about 2 hours, 20 minutes, something like that.
Oh, wow.
I think it was 6:15 when we came out.
Okay.
So maybe just about
2 hours, maybe just over.
Yeah.
Okay. A film like that should be, looking around about 90 minutes. Once you hit over 90 minutes, now you need to be wrapping up.
So she's doing her investigation here. A friend of hers is doing investigation in America. Like I say, it's never very difficult.
Yeah.
Things get wrapped up very quickly. She finds some wax cylinders. Later she steals the key off the sister. Then she finds, a gramophone that plays wax cylinders. It was all very...
just left there, not
Right.
The good thing about the stealing the key, when Jessica Chastain figures that out, I did really appreciate a little sort of plan of I'll just leave the keys here.
Yeah.
And then when she comes back, she felt she obviously Chelsky or whatever. Basically sort of I better put this back before she notices it's missing. Where she already has noticed it's missing. So when she comes to pick it up, she goes, it's back. And she's definitely taken it. She's definitely used it. So which I thought that was quite a sort of really clever subtle plot.
Yeah. Yeah, completely, because And I have to say, like, apart from right towards the end, I didn't really feel the romance.
No.
Because the whole point of the ending, without fully spoiling it,
Yeah.
is that Tom Hiddleston, like, she's the one he finally falls in love with. And I didn't really feel that.
No. I didn't. Well, it just felt too much like a puppy dog, sloppy romance. I mean, they kind of like falling in love pretty much on the spot. More or less, really. Within like the second or third scene together, they are pretty much like, yeah, well, they're digging at each other in a big way, and then that's it. And even dude from Sons of Anarchy can't change that.
But it was also the fact that when you learn that he's manipulating that. But I never quite saw the change between him being manipulative and then him being for real. Until the very end when they were in the elevator and she goes, "I thought you loved me," and he goes, "I do." Like, then I felt it.
Yeah.
But that was a whole movie later, you know.
Yeah. Well, you play it in the fact that he's made that choice, and I think what was very kind of cool was like, I feel like we're just going to spoil this movie.
That's fine. Should people see the movie?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, great. So go see it and then listen. Carry on.
Okay.
Spoil whatever you like.
Okay. When Tom Hiddleston stabs, who's the name of the actor? Who's it? I think I'll say Charlie.
I don't know.
Sorry, no, yeah, the guy. He was in
the all-American hero.
Yeah, pretty much. He was in Pacific Rim, anyway.
Hunnen?
Yes.
Something Hunnen?
Yeah,
Charlie Hunnen?
Yeah.
No. Something Hunnen.
Anyway. When like it basically just like in the last act and everything's just kicking off and all the gore just starts piling thick and fast. Tom Hiddleston goes to stab Charlie Hunnam's character in front of Jessica Chastain, and he kind of like sort of tells him, "Sweetie, your doctor, tell me where." So let's just say like, "Look, when's not going to be fatal?" Meaning
right.
like, you know, I need to sort this out. So if I don't do it, she will. So tell me where.
Yeah, that was a good bit. Yeah. And he told her not to drink the tea.
Yeah.
That was poisoning her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's only in the back of his mind he kind of wanted to work out a way they can all live together, which you just know that's not going to please.
Well, yeah, that was his naive dream.
Yeah.
No, it was odd because I think that you could have made it. So much of it was safe. Scary, but safe for anyone to watch. So like, but then there are these moments of either like ultra sex or ultra violence.
Yeah.
Like never like there are no like breasts in the movie or whatever. But like when you discover her and Tom Hiddleston, she's got her hand in his shorts and you know it's clearly obvious what's going on. And then there's the sex scene in the basement of the post office or wherever that was. And then there's all this extreme violence. And you feel like, apart from that, the rest of the movie was kind of like a family-friendly movie, almost.
Yeah. Well, I
think they thought the ghosts were scarier than they actually were. I never found the ghosts scary.
No. Neither did I. I thought it was just like, yeah, okay. And that was my kind of feeling for most of the film. It was pretty much like, yeah, I'm just going through the motions, nothing really, you know, it's like, stuff is happening, but okay.
And I know parts of the ghosts were CGI, but I also know that he did have Doug Jones on the movie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can tell, like, obviously had people inside them, but I don't know, it just felt a little bit too cartoony, a little bit too, like, you know, I thought they could have worked on it to make it a little bit more gruesome, and it just felt like it was all kind of... It just wasn't like it felt like it was.
He tried to blend practical and CG, and it wasn't 100% successful.
Yeah, I don't know. It just felt like, you know, this it could be in a 12 specific movie. If you take out literally all the.
If you take out the first death.
Yeah, you know, if you take out literally like the majority of the violence in this, it could easily be in the 12A.
Right, and we wouldn't be talking about cutting a lot. We would only be talking about cutting a few seconds here and there.
But those for me were the best bits.
I'm not suggesting we neuter it. I'm just saying that it was in stark contrast.
Yeah.
The rest of it was kind of Tim Burton-esque. It was all like boom, boom, like big spooky house,
really like bombarding score, which I thought was like a little bit overpowering sometimes. It just felt like this a little bit too much. It just felt like we should be sort of intense, a bit scared, a bit creeped out a little bit, but it just seems to be full on like I don't know who did the score, but it sounded like very much like Danny Elfman and kind of like very full on like.
Well, he was trying to do the epic gothic horror from the 70s.
And he kind of did that, and that's one of the things I really liked about it.
Yeah.
Other than the violence, but I really felt like by the time it's got to the last act, the film really found itself, and basically when Jessica Chastain comes from being like quietly kind of psychotic to being like a flaying mad woman with a cleaver. I thought. Yes, this is the
what
film
you wanted the whole movie. Yeah.
Well, it's like finally the film's found itself. It's and to be honest, I was expecting like a gothic ghost story, and I didn't really find it like a ghost story. It just felt like a film that had some ghosts in.
Right.
Yeah.
But then she does say that about the book.
Well, the book she's writing.
She says at the beginning exactly what you just said.
Oh, right.
She said it's not a ghost story, it's a story with ghosts in.
Yeah.
She said that almost exactly.
But, but it just felt like there wasn't more focus on the ghosts. It's like you're more involved with what's happening with Tom Hiddleston's and Jessica Chastain rather than...
Like, actually, with hindsight, everything she says about her book at the beginning, right down to the guy saying, well, it needs a romance, my dear, You're a woman, write a romance. Right down to that, you feel like the Tom Hiddleston and her romance was sort of like an afterthought.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what I mean is, like, the movie plays out exactly the way her book, you imagine, played out.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see that, but like the romance would be quite an important setting point because there's a whole reason for her to kind of go away with him and kind of like...
No, from her side, but I mean from his side.
Oh, right.
The fact that he's faking it at the beginning, but does eventually fall for her. I liked it, but the story, such as it is blunt and insubstantial.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think it's average, but good average. If that makes any sense. It's very glossy.
The script was better than Pacific Rim, definitely.
Yeah. I thought it could have been a little tighter. I thought that could have solved a lot of problems if you just trimmed out all the fat or the pointless exposition. You could have
But I quite enjoyed spending time with her father and in that world and setting up the society and all that.
Yeah.
It's totally irrelevant to what happens, but I quite enjoyed it nonetheless. Like the second act for me was where it dragged.
Yeah. I have to agree with you that. I mean, I did at first I did wonder where, like, okay, come on, you're going to take your time. Let's get things going. Let's get to the ghost and the death and whatever's going to happen. But by the time it got to the middle, that's where oh, come on, give me something. And it's like, oh, give me a little bit of something, and it's like, oh, give me something. I just felt like it was unnecessarily being pacey, so like it should have just shaved off maybe 15 minutes would have helped out a lot.
Right.
I think. And then my issues with, say, not enough ghosts wouldn't have mattered because the film maybe would have been shorter and then it wouldn't have felt so long, it would have felt a bit more tighter.
To me, there was too much of the dog.
Yeah. Don't I just like it when
there was too much of her playing with the dog.
Just in the background, just come here, just kill.
You little bitch. But there was too many sequences after she got to the house of her wistfully playing with the dog and the ball that never really kind of paid off.
Yeah.
Other than the dog gets killed at the end.
I was expecting Charlie Hunnam's character to die, And I thought, that was quite boring for me.
Right.
And I thought, like a knife to just under the ribs. It was like that's no one's going to survive that.
Right.
That's good,
Well, yeah, but it's movie logic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. But
in the same way that Jessica Chastain could drive a kitchen knife into someone's cheek, I mean, I don't really believe you could do that much either. You could cut the cheek, but to break the skull, there's a bone right there. Also, the fact that he would be like, let's say she did break the skull and it went up either into his eye or into his brain.
So I thought it went straight into an eye originally.
Right.
And I kind of wanted to like to lean towards you and go like, oh, I bet he didn't see that one coming.
Right.
But
I think he got the point.
yeah.
I think he got the point. Got a bit of a short and cornery.
But it did kind of like to linger on it somewhat a little bit with it came to like smashing someone's skull and think it was like most films just do that once happily. This one does about 3 times like not done, smack, no, not in a bigger hole in the skull, no, again. And
then you finally see his like head fall onto the bathroom floor, and it's stoved in, like it's properly.
And you see the dead body again. It's just like,
yeah. No, there was one point where he was smacking the thing, and it's the only reaction I did. I don't know if you noticed, but I kind of went, oh.
Yeah.
Like
I think you the majority of the audience were doing that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I kept my eyes open like I watch it, but there's that fudge, there's that kind of vibe to it, so.
Yeah, but what's the bit when like she falls down the stairs? No, not downstairs. She gets pushed off the balcony.
Yeah.
I thought, no way she should survive that. She'd be at least be crippled,
right?
Completely. I'm like, how should that? No, that's impossible.
Well, the
again, movie logic, but
the banister and the snow broke her fall.
Yeah, but I was thinking the banister would have snapped her body in half. She would not be able to walk from the waist down at the very least.
Except that it was all rotten and.
Oh, okay.
I presume.
Yeah.
Like that stopped her momentum.
Yeah. It's like when you fall off a high cliff and you fall in trees. The trees break your fall.
Yeah. I assume that's the physics of it. I'm going to go with that.
Yeah.
But she had a slightly bandaged ankle.
Yeah.
Also, he said, I've heavily sedated you, yet I'm going to take you out of here, which didn't seem to make any sense. Why heavily sedate her and then say I'm going to take her out?
May might have lied to him and said children. Maybe.
I guess so.
Maybe. But,
I mean, overall, I enjoyed it.
She's perfectly fine running around after that.
Yeah. Yes, I'm good. More water? Yes, more water, definitely. Thank you.
So I assume it's a lie. It was like a. Did you see that? Because like even after that, she's there running around getting chased, and stabbing people and with pens and what. Oh.
Which I saw coming.
Yeah.
I saw everything coming.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't a twist in the movie that I wasn't like, oh, okay then. Like, I didn't need her sitting listening to the wax cylinders to work out what had happened.
So I did think that Jesse's death would have like her getting pushed inside the machine in some way and just like getting like splattered.
Well, that's what
everywhere.
I thought it was going to be. Yeah.
So
also, for Cumberland in England, nobody spoke with an accent. Nobody. Like, I thought when they went to the post office, there would be a bunch of people who would be speaking in a northern accent, but there wasn't anybody speaking in a northern accent. Like, Hiddleston I'll buy because he's like a lord of the manor, like I get.
Thank you.
Excellent. But like beyond that, I don't buy that there's not one single. In fact, most of the people in the post office were talking in kind of a slight Cockney accent, and I'm thinking, well, that's not.
Well,
Cumberland.
It's I think it's typical working class Hollywood. Working class in Britain is like like governor or either that or it's.
We've got a letter for you. You can always stay downstairs if you want. Like, and I was like, where is this meant to be? This is meant to be Cumberland.
Or maybe more so now the more Yorkshire kind of cheer up,
like Sean Bean type.
Basically.
Because where is Cumberland's up north, right? Cumberland's up north, right?
Yeah.
I think it's like Lake. Isn't it near the Lake District there, kind of area?
Yeah, sure.
So why were they all like, oh, you stay downstairs if you like, sir. Hello, Lord. Doth the cap to you this morning. We're not going out in the blizzard. All the horses are tied away. Like, it was all this kind of Cockney stuff.
Well, accents haven't developed yet. Everyone's Cockney back in them days.
Right, yeah, do. But no, I mean, to me it was a very, very beautifully shot.
Oh yeah.
Passable ghost story with other gothic elements that were very knowing and not particularly well hidden or subtle.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
Yeah.
I think you enjoyed it a lot more because it's like how many Del Toro films have you seen now? Have you seen?
Hellboy, Pan's Labyrinth, and Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim. Have you not seen Devil's Backbone or?
No. Oh, Kronos.
Kronos, yeah.
I've seen Kronos.
Have you seen Blade 2?
I've seen all the Blades, yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably actually one of my favourite.
Right.
Because it's just so much fun, Blade 2.
Yeah, no, I mean, if someone said, like you said, like if someone said from Hammer Studios and Guillermo Del Toro comes Crimson Peak, I'd be like, okay. It's got about as much substance as most Hammer films in terms of plot. And it's got about as much twists and turns as the Edgar Allan Poe, Roger Corman series.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you go in not expecting anything, it's very old-fashioned in its taste and storytelling.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when it comes down to it, you're going to do like a thing like Hammer, you're going to do like Roger Corman, it needs to be 90 minutes because it is low in substance, so why are you hanging around for? Go in, do your stuff.
Or tell the same story but just make it a little bit more ambiguous. Like in Tomb of Ligeia, which is a very similar story, or Mask of the Red Death, or any of those, it's a little bit more ambiguous about exactly what's going on. They never nail it on the head and go, well, this is a ghost.
It gives you more food for thought, really. Yeah.
And there's a way to tell the story.
It haunts you.
Yeah.
When someone leaving the screen.
Right. And
Pardon the bad pun.
It's the way you tell the story, and I just think he tells it too matter-of-factly.
Yeah. Yeah.
There should have been more hints that they were incestuous. There should have been more hints that it was the ex-wives. It shouldn't have been so... Well, these are the ex-wives, these are the ghosts. Oh, look, she was killed in a bathtub with an axe, so that's clearly...
It's very cut and dried, the plot, and I think it just had... It threw in more, like, stuff about papers and documents and all this stuff that's, like, no one really cares about. And just to kind of, like, beef it up, really, and just thought, well, no, you know, if you're going to be smart and play that up, or just play it straight.
Right.
Just go for it. Just don't hold back. But
like all the things that were meant to be a big reveal.
Yeah.
Like the fact that she was the killer and not him.
Yeah.
That was obvious. The fact that they were incestual, I guess.
Who else would it be? There's no other.
The fact they were incestual, I guess. The fact that the ghosts were the mother and the wives, I got. Like, none of it surprised me or whatever. And I think that's its failing.
Yeah.
I think there's a way to make this movie slightly more surreal and slightly more ambiguous.
Yeah.
With the same cast, same set, same cameraman, and you just make it a slightly more interesting movie.
Yeah.
That's all. It just lacked an edge.
Yeah.
That's all.
And I kind of agree. I mean, like, the things where I fall off on was just the fact that it just had chunks of moments where I was like, I'm just kind of waiting for something to happen, and I just felt I wasn't really engaged with. I should be with this, and I think maybe a leaner running time would have helped with that, but that is really where my main feeling. Otherwise, I did enjoy it, mostly, particularly when it kicked in. It was like,
It certainly wasn't a waste of a movie-going experience.
No.
I didn't go and see it and go, oh fuck, why did we go see this? You know what I mean? I wish we'd gone and seen Black Mass. Like, I wasn't. And weirdly enough, although we saw it in IMAX, and it doesn't need to be seen in IMAX, but I did love the texture you get with that high definition.
Well, because it is quite. It's a very colourful film, so you got so when you are you go inside the house, you see all the architecture, you see how it's impressive design, you get to see all of that, and you don't really miss anything because it's all like, wow, look at that.
And that sequence near the end where she was coming down the corridor, and the camera started high up in these wrought iron rafters that were all jagged edges and weird patterns, and then it came down. I loved all that stuff. I loved the fact that it was the hole in the ceiling over the main foyer was either constantly snowing or autumn leaves, constantly. I liked that. I thought it was a very dream-like touch.
Coffee or something?
Did you want a coffee or a tea or anything?
I'll have one if you have one.
I'm fine. I'm not.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay, just to check them, sir. Thank you. But yeah, so I like those little elements. I mean, the butterfly and moth thing, I don't know that was particularly relevant, but I mean, it made for...
I kind of liked it. It was kind of like...
I like the spooky dolls and the toys in his workshop.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I mean, that old moth thing was pretty graphic, wasn't it? It was like, she fed a dying moth to ants, and the ants just like, you see like ants like devour.
Well, that was the thing that never really paid off, was that she said it at the park, and then he said it later on, which was this idea of in the end we're all like devoured. Was it like, I guess that was just like a vague idea then, because it was never really kind of paid off.
I saw it as a sign of like of who her character was, which is basically a psychopath. You sort of like see it's very typical like thing that serial killers have. They pull off wings of flies and legs of spiders, because they're kind of like that, like in suffering. That
but again, it's a very kind of just generic idea. Like there's nothing.
Or maybe she believes that's her role. She doesn't believe it of herself in a kind of way, but that's kind of what she does to all these different women.
Yeah, I guess so.
She lets them deteriorate. Though I don't really get what the whole thing about slowly poisoning her and then just kill them. I mean, I don't really get that.
No.
I'm sorry?
Just they're gonna get the thing. Okay, fine, slit. Or or come up with a thing. But I suppose it makes everything nice. Oh, she got sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was literally like put all the aspects of any kind of horror movie from the last 50 years and put them all in the same place, and this is what you end up with, There you go, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was just like put everything into a blender, rinse, repeat, spew it back out again. So, like you say, you have the insects, you have she was in a mental institution, you have the gore, the black gloves, you have the incest, you have the ghosts, you have the spooky house in the middle of England, you have little nods to the Industrial Revolution, nods to Sherlock Holmes, nods to ghosts and photographs. Like, it was really just throw it all into a blender and this is what you get.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what he does anyway. It's like that kind of blend of childness, sort of child wonderment, look at the world.
Yeah.
Because quite often, especially in Spanish films, the main character is a child, and it's kind of seen through their eyes, even though it's kind of very dark and all this horrible stuff's happening at the same time. So you've got the contrast of extreme, horrible, really nasty violence.
Right.
So it's kind of almost sort of childlike eyes,
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree, man. Well, I enjoyed it. I thought it was well worth seeing, and I'm glad it gave us a chance to do an episode, and I'm glad we got to have a burger in a diner and hang out again. So for that, it was well worth it. I
Definitely.
Really enjoyed it. And thanks ever so much for being this week's guest.
Oh, no worries. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Oh, a real pleasure, sir. Thank you. I went and saw Crimson Peak. It was cold and very, very bleak up the top of Crimson Peak. The movie just came out this week, and on the show you just heard we did speak about the film of Crimson Peak. And it made sense, it's not oblique. The rundown house did bend and creak. Shiddleston showed his unhairy butt cheek. And we all danced the bolero dressed as an Arab sheik on Crimson Peak.